Kelvin Kitecho is my name. I'm a final year student of architecture at the University of Nairobi. Actually, through my 6-year academic journey, I've taken part in leadership all through. That is all the way from first year all the way to 6th year. Probably the one that stood out so well is the Equity Leaders Club, University of Nairobi, which is the ELCUN. Of course, Equity is a big brand. Most of now students who have benefited from the Wings to Fly program, or the ones who performed so well in high school and now joined the bank, are now Equity Leaders program. So those are the ones that now make up the ELC, because now ELC is everywhere. It's in all institutions across the country. If it's in University of Nairobi, it is ELCUN. If it's in JKUAT, it's ELC JKUAT, and so on and so forth, because they're also in the TVET institutions. Now, when I got to 4th year, I was very confident that all the networks, all the contributions I've been able to make in the club, I've at least known a few people here and there, a few friends, a few leaders. So it was now time to now stand up and say, I also need to be seen. So I took the step of faith. I actually remember even the poster. One friend of mine, Josiah Muruki, is the one who did the poster for me and told me, it's a good step that you have taken. So pursue it passionately. So I vied as a treasurer, and fortunately, because I was ready, I was prepared, I was elected as the treasurer of the club. That is in 4th year. I was to mobilize funding whenever there are activities. Of course, activities cannot run without funding. I was to mobilize funding from companies, from organizations, from students, because the events were tailored to bring together students, to help students network even with the industry experts and even themselves. So we also needed to get money from their pockets whenever we had events. And our events included, probably we have hikes, we also have dinners, which is also a very big event for ELC because it's annual. We also have career days that's also annual. So every leadership must at least carry out such events. So apart from probably mobilizing in terms of funding, we also had to mobilize the student to attend the events. We also had to attend meetings so that we are able to come up with strategies to propel the club forward. So probably in terms of the challenges, with the club being referred to as Equity Leaders Club, when we got outside to get finances, we even went to banks, a cooperative bank, we went to maybe like Housing Finance Corporation, we went to Safaricom, but now they were wondering why should we approach them for funding, and yet we have the umbrella name Equity. Why should Equity not fund us? Which I'm sure was a very contentious issue, because most of the times we realized that we were not heavily funded from external sources. Because I think the name Equity thought that people or organizations used to think that, oh, these are from Equity, so Equity should fund them, or they already have the funding, which was not the case because we were students. So our finances mainly came from maybe the bank, that is Equity Bank, or even the school, because the university has a kitty for the various organizations. Of course, you are funded. I remember even for our dinners, we used to be well funded by the school. 2021, 2022. So 2021, 2022, we were able to organize a very huge dinner whereby our chief guest was the famous Johnson Mwakazi, a journalist personnel. So in terms of being able to bring together the students, being able to bring together experts from the industry, that one was perfectly achieved. Our students were happy and they enjoyed because the dinner was such a success. I wanted to be the president of the club. So what I did, I was very close to the president of the club when I was a treasurer, because I wanted to be able to understand the operation of how does a club operate, how does everything run, how do you probably talk to organizations, how do you talk to big people, so that at least you have an idea of what is required. Even in terms of dealing with the students, your fellow students, how do you make sure that you can convince them, you can take their money from their pockets to be able to finance whatever project or whatever event you're planning. So I remember it was a very contentious election. The aim, the vision was that we are graduating, we are getting into the job market. You should go out in the market in such a way that as an architect I need to connect with a quantity surveyor, with an engineer, who when I have a project is able to help me in terms of achieving or delivering the project. So that was my main slogan and campaign manifesto that actually took me up there, because finally I was able to emerge at the top, and now I was the chapter president at the Equity Leaders Club, University of Nairobi. It is actually the biggest club with a membership of at least 700 students. As the leaders at ELC, we have seen the crop of leaders joining ELC and then getting into UNSA, and UNSA is a top university leadership. So from ELC to top University of Nairobi Students Association leadership. So the leadership coaching is thorough and vigor, because you get at that position now. I used to interact with the management of the university, because even the dean of students is our patron. I was able to amalgamate my team so well. We had a very famous slogan that for any event we did, it was just dope. So that's why we had the slogan, if it is not big, then we didn't plan it. Because our events were very big. From tree plantings that we had at Onderi, we had a hike to Suswa, and actually the hike that we went for Suswa, it formed a template whereby so many other organizations now wanted to take their students to Suswa. People wanted to make money by taking people to Suswa for adventure, which I think it means it was an idea that would be scaled, that would be profitable, because so many people, so many organizations from there took up the idea, came up with the Equity Leaders Club, University of Nairobi Association, Alumni Association, to be able now to tap into the rich alumni association, because people graduate, of course, some are in the job market, others are international, probably pursuing masters, pursuing other degrees, or even in business. So we came up with the alumni association so that we would have a link between the alumni and our students. So you can tell that the club is even very thriving so well. So probably as part of that vision of elevating leaders from the club and not the university, when I was the president for 2022-2023, Ramesh was my vice president. We served with him as the vice president, and we went to UNSA. Became the governor there. After that, gotten to vie for the Secretary General of UNSA Council now, of which still he got the position, and now he's serving as the Secretary General of the association. So that is generally about ELC. We continue to empower our people to achieve their dreams and to push their limits.